G'day guys and welcome back to the JFBS SuperCoach channel. And today what we're going to go through is the North Melbourne Kangaroos team review in today's video going into the AFL 2026 season for SuperCoach. If you haven't checked out the other videos, I've posted about, how many now? About 10 odds, maybe 11, 12. I think it's probably around 10. About 10 odd videos. I'm going to be publishing the other ones later. So stay tuned for those and go check out the other ones if you want a bit more of a debrief about some certain players or some not. But today we're going to do North Melbourne. But before we go into my opinions, we go over to Nerds for Life. Look, if you've been watching all the team reviews, then you'll be well on top of it. If you haven't, basically what he does is that he gets a bunch of track watch sources, gets their opinion, gets their notes and opinions, and puts it in a notepad, and then publishes it to the Twitter world. So do make sure you give him a follow. He is super handy. He's definitely made me, when I read those previews and stuff, it's made me, think about, maybe I should go for this guy instead, or question marks about this person. But today it's North Melbourne. Here we go. I think it's just these two for now. So let's read it. Yoda, McKercher, Mukunda, Core, Spargo, George, and Zerha didn't participate in the match sim. So, by the way, this was December 17th, so about a month and a half ago, the day I'm recording this. Simpkin strongly on the wing. Larky and Darling prominent up forward. Caleb Daniel was racking up possessions as usual half-back. Cooper Harvey was impressive, but not in his usual half-forward role. Instead, he was playing across half-back. This was a role he briefly had in round 21 last year, but before returning to half forward for the rest of the year. Didn't dominate the game, but a role change is interesting. However, McKercher didn't play, so it's early days. Don't get too excited. It's early days to get too excited, so yeah, don't get too excited there. Hanson Jr. was lively with his pressure acts and pushed forward to impact in front of goal. Trembath and Banch impressed up forward, taking marks. They were able to hot the scoreboard. Gowd? Sounds like I'm saying the disease. Gowd. Coleman Jones did most of the ruck work with Cherry playing deep forwards. Wouldn't be too concerned with Cherry doing this at all. There's likely testing out their ruck stocks, which is very normal at this time. O'Sullivan spent a lot of time running through the middle, and Dersma played forward, needs a big year. So that was December 17th, and this one is January 28th, so a bit more recent. McKercher, standouts halfback distribution role was everywhere. So, look, we'll talk about him very soon, but he's a close lock for me. Sheasel, who was another lock, 580k mid-forward, best on ground, midfield role, pushed up forward to hit the scoreboard, but has missed some in front of goal. Absolute lock. I don't need to say any more. Very true. Gowd, 119k. Ruck went up against Cherry, 687k. Actually was quite impressive, which is good to see. Doverston kicked a goal, took some great grabs, moved well up forward. Caleb Daniel was the main distributor halfback for the opposite team to Colin McKercher. Hardiman was used as a halfback as well and pushed high on the ground. Looked good. Parker, 476k mid. Played his usual midfield role. Wardlaw playing the midfield and was fantastic. Mukunda, mid-forward, was able to find plenty of the footy in a halfback role and used it well too. Howe, mid, played half-forward. Could be a chance for DPP though. Pino Sullivan didn't get a lot of the footy, but good user when he did. Guy Simpkin started in the midfield. And is there anything else? Yep. Look, Urquhart, start in the middle, looked strong, defensive mindset, solid in contest. Paul Curtis injured his shoulder during match sim. LDU and Dersma didn't take part of the match sim. Constanti, Gota, George, Fisher, Scott, Spargo, Core, Archer, Coleman Jones, Threadgold, Stevenson, Braden, George also didn't play. So quite a big list that didn't play, but that's fine. So those were the Nerds for Life comments. Let's get into my comments. So Caleb Daniel, 0% have got him. He was the guy to go for a couple of years ago, not anymore, so don't bother going for him. Colin McKercher, 42% of the community does have Colin McKercher. I've got him in personally because I think him off that halfback role is really good. He's had crazy games of around 120, 130 SuperCoach scores. nowhere near an average of that, but that's what you can definitely get. And his floor is probably the same as a Primo as well, at around that 80 range. Like if you get an 80 from O'Sullivan, not O'Sullivan, from McKerchie going, look, that you'll take it, but you know, we're hoping for next week it's 100, 110. So look, I've got him. I'm very high on him, as well as a lot of other super coaches are. There are definitely some very similar pods you can go for instead of McKercher, but I've talked about them in previous videos / upcoming, I guess, as well. So 42% there. Luke McDonald, going to say a very quick no. Let's do highest price, actually. Luke McDonald, going to say no. Like him, Core, Low, Combin, and Pink, guys who average around that 60 and 70 and 50 range. Just there's no point for going for them because they're not going to be making money for you or pushing the needle for averaging more. Midfielders, I've got Sheasel up in the midfield, but have him as a forward because he's your F1 by a long mile. I don't need to say more anymore. He's probably the best player on this team, and he's got forward DPP. So, yeah. LDU at 526k. 2% of people have got him in his sides. He was a little bit disappointing for others. If people watch Shorty Supercoach, then you do know that LDU did pull some hairs. Most definitely for those people that had him. I didn't have him. I had Patrick Cripps, so a different guy was pulling my hair a lot throughout the season. So look, for those guys who have got LDU, you know, give your opinion what you think he's going to do, but I don't think he's going to be averaging. Like I reckon he can definitely average 105, 110. That's for sure. But how consistent is it going to be? Probably not enough, considering that he's got a 97 average. The next three: Luke Parker, Jai Simpkin, and Tom Powell. Yeah, probably. I mean, Tom Powell, was it him that was potentially playing forward, or was it a different guy? No, Tom Powell playing half forward, so you can definitely get DPP. And at 84, it's not terrible, but it can definitely get better. So imagine if you can get 90 and he's up forward. He's not a bad option to go for halfway through the year before there's other guys towards the back end of the year that will change their position to a forward as well. Georgie Wardlaw, definitely a guy to talk about. 7% have got him in their side. He picked up an injury recently, and I think he might be. I don't know if he's out in for the first bit of the AFL season, but definitely out for the rest of the preseason, which is very, very annoying. A lot of people had him as a pod, saying he was going to break out because he was in the middle a lot more. In my don't really want to. Stop popping up. That always pops up. Sorry. Going back to George Wardlaw, in my opinion, I don't think he's going to average more. The most he'll do is 85. He gets to 40, it's Tom Powell's average at 450k. It's not really worth it, in my opinion. So just make sure you're doing your research on Wardlaw. I love him. I think he's a really good tough nut in the middle, and he just goes for every time. He goes into the pack or goes into every contest he can because he's just a bull. And I love that about him. But his price and his injury proneness, and I don't think he can average much more than an 85, 90. There's no point of having him there. You've got better options, in my opinion. Dylan Stevens, probably not. And Bailey Scott as well. You're going to be saying no. Finn O'Sullivan's interesting. How many people have Finn O'Sullivan? 3% have got Foss. Oh, yeah, probably not. Probably if he was running through the middle or coming off half back, then maybe. But knowing that his kind of area of position is indefinite, we don't know at this stage, unfortunately. And Robert Hansen Jr. as well, played 12 games last year, 185k. Let's have a look at his player summary because obviously it might be an effect because he probably was sub. He's 21. Damn. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 games where he was starting sub or subbed off, which was 1 game. An average of 27. But let's have a look at the games where he didn't get subbed off. So one, oh, that's VFL. That's VFL. Okay, I want to click that one, please. Click that one. To that one, that one, that one. So he had an average of 44. His highest score was a 71 at the start. Is he going to get more opportunity? He'll definitely have a higher score because if we go back to it, what was his time on ground? 71, 66, 75, 73, 70, and then the rest of them were 50, 49, 30, 35, 54. And then you got 22 and 29 as he's starting. So, look, I'm just going to say no with Robert Hanson Jr., unfortunately. Rucks, here we go. Tristan Cherry, Coleman Jones, and Taylor Goad. Goad. I think it's Goad. Cherry, 52% of the comp have got him. Very interesting to see. I don't have him in my squad. I think he's the best ruckman, in my opinion. And then Gawn's a very, very, very close second. But Tristan Cherry, definitely an option for you to go for. How are the ruck rules going to affect everyone or all the rucks? The simple answer is everyone. But I actually think it's going to affect more of the guys that play a role down back because anything can happen. Cherry, who like there's the two arguments of who's going to get impacted more. Is it rucks that aren't going to jump, or is it rucks that aren't going to get to the ball quicker? I think there's a bigger issue of a ruck's going to get to the ball quicker because there's more stoppages than centre bounce appearances. And with the new rule, they're just going to be throwing it up straight away. So your rucks need to be around the ground. And a guy like Tristan Cherry does get around the ground. He'll sometimes go down back, but like the main guys I'm thinking of are like a Max Gawn. You've got Grundy who goes down back. You've got Darcy Cameron who goes down back. I know Toby Nankervis as well. Cherry doesn't. Tim English does go down back, but he's a really agile ruck and get up and ground. The obvious answer is also Luke Jackson as well. That's why I've got Tim English and Luke Jackson as my rucks because they're also, 80K cheaper. If they go down by 5 or 10 points, that's fine. I think Tristan Cherry and Max Gorn will go down a lot more in points. It'll be a very even distribution with all the rucks. It'll be probably around a 110 average, I think. So he might go down in price. Also to note that Tristan Cherry, like North Melbourne have the round 12 bye. I can't check that here. I don't want to autofill with all due respect. I'm pretty sure they've got the round 12 bye, which is really bad for, I think it's 4 teams. It's got Adelaide, Port Adelaide, North, and another team. I think, well, it's not Gold Coast, but I can't think of it. But you've got to think about all the Port guys. Some of your Port, sorry, let me restart that. You got to think about all the Port Adelaide guys that you've got in your squad, like a Zach Butters, Rosé, you got Bergman as well, you got Todd Marshall on the forward line. That's already 4. And then you've got some North guys. You've got Cherry, Sheasel, McKercher. If people go on LDU or Foss or Wardlaw, or even a Cooper Harvey will get to in his tick. There's already a lot of names, and then you've got Adelaide who've got Dawson, Rankin, etc., etc. I'm going to try my best to try and evenly distribute it from each round, most definitely. But yeah, Tristan Cherry, going back to him, it's completely fine to go with him, in my opinion. I think he's fine to go with. Just remember that 80K cheaper, you've got, or 70K cheaper, you've got Tim English and Luke Jackson, who I've got personally. But we can have this ruck discussion another day. Going up to the forwards, we've got Paul Curtis. We're going to do this very quick. Paul Curtis, you're not going to average enough for you to be your starting 6. Larky, no. Zerha, no. Darling, hell no. Constanti, no. Spargo, I don't think so. He could play wing, but nah, probably not. Cooper Harvey, I had in my team for maybe a week or two when Colin McKercher was playing in the middle, and then Charlie Coleman came out and said that, he's, what's it called? He's, McKercher's coming back down back, so no point for having Cooper Harvey on your team. It would have been nice in that squad, but not for today. Dersma, hell no. Hardiman's interesting. I'm going to say no. How many people have Hardiman? He's 296K. Forwards. Oh, he's a defender. My bad. Zero. Okay. Well, he could be an option, honestly, because Caleb Daniels is a bit crap, I'll be honest. Anyways, I think that's going to do it. Oh, actually, I haven't gone through the rest of the squad that I haven't talked about. We got Cooper Trimbath, going to say no. Zach Fisher, he was great years ago, but don't know how he fits in that squad now. Will Dawson, going to say no. Bench. Archer's out for the whole year, which is really unfortunate, so no. Doverson, he's interesting. He might be like a... Oh, who was the little kid that... Who was the little kid that plays for Port? Like Berry. Is it Joe Berry? Something like that. Um, it could be something like that. I reckon he does play in, I reckon he does start, but is he going to impact straight away, or what's he going to average? 50, 40? I think it might be close to 40 or 50. Coleman Jones going to say no. George, Gota, Stevens, Urquhart, Matt Whitlock. People have gone with him, but I think because he's got forward defender status. Makunda could be interesting, and Threadgold. All of them I'm going to say no. But yeah, that's going to do it for me. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed that. Let me know if I talked not enough about some guys that you think will do well, or if there's guys that I've talked about it too much and you don't think they'll be any good. Let me know. Tell me anything about anything. Yeah, that's been my say. I can't really think much more to say. But yeah, that's going to do it for me. Hopefully, you guys have a good one, and I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.